Hi, I'm Chris Lewis, firefighter for the Lakeville Fire Department. Welcome to another edition of On Call. The goal of this program is to educate and inform citizens of Lakeville about how Lakeville's all-volunteer fire department trains and responds to emergencies. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this edition of On Call. We'll head down to Fire Station 1 and look at a multi-story patient packaging training exercise that they're doing. In the Chief's Corner, Chief Mike Myers heads up to Station 3 to look at a creative, forcible entry exercise. In the Did You Know, we'll look at a program that allows you to give back to Lakeville Fire Department through everyday purchases. We'll have another question on Ask Tabor. Scratch will take us on another adventure, and we'll get you updated on all the news happening around LFD. Tonight we're at another training session, and our topic tonight is multi-level rescue and patient packaging. We're here again with Brian Kilmartin, our district chief. Brian, what are we doing tonight?
Well, tonight's scenarios involve somebody who might be on top of a commercial building. Most of the scenarios are made up for a commercial building, not so much a residential building. And what we're practicing is the patient packaging from, say, an injury. Maybe it's a medical condition, and it's too hard to get them down on their own. So they're going to need our assistance, whether it be a Stokes basket, just a backboard, whatever comes to play. We could end up with an injury. We could end up with, again, a medical situation. And one of the scenarios tonight is just an injury from a fall, a trip and fall, where one of our victims has got a twisted leg, a broken leg possibly. And the goal for the firefighters is not only to package that patient for removal from the roof, but to do some of our first aid skills, whether it be a history of what might have happened to make them dizzy, or what might have happened 5 minutes before the call. Did they get a bonk on the head? Did they trip over a pipe and their knee hurt and it caused them to be favoring it or something like that? So we're going to do one scenario like that, where it's just going to be very simple. They're going to ask some questions, simulate some packaging of the patient, and then we're going to move to a second scenario that is going to be a little bit more complex. It's going to be a fall from 16 feet to be exact. And there's going to be some deformities, there's going to be some physical problems with the patient, and we're going to have to rescue that patient using more than just a couple of first responders. Our hopes is to use the ladder truck from Station 1 to get the patient off the roof, so that'll involve a few more people. Both operating the truck and some of the difficulties that are going to be facing the firefighters in just packaging a patient that suffered a 16-foot fall.
So when we're packaging a patient, we're actually talking about bandaging them or preparing them for removal off the roof. Whether
it be bandages, in case of a fall, let's say, in the second scenario, the patient's going to have a head injury. So we have to deal with, we're going to want to put oxygen on them. We're going to have to deal with a cervical spine potential issue. Obviously the fall from 16 feet, there's a lot of internal things that could be happening. So yes, it's from start to finish packaging. It could be as simple as a Band-Aid or a sling, all the way up to splinting, hopefully the medics to get involved to give the patient some medication if they're in pain, all the way to possibly multiple breaks or multiple fractures. So we'll be using backboards, cervical collars, some bandages, oxygen masks. Firefighters should be using a bag valve mask. One of the victim is going to be unconscious. They're going to use a Stokes basket, backboard, use the ladder truck, possibly some ropes to stabilize the packaging of the patient as they go down the ladder. Many things. It's hard to tell what they're really going to use. That's part of the training. Yep. Some of it is I planned it, and some of it is let's just see how many tools in the toolboxes we decide to use.
Okay, so we would bring something like the ladder out, and hopefully we could take somebody off a roof like that.
Yep.
What if we're in a building where we can't get them off the ladder?
Well, here in Lakeville we don't have that problem.
Okay.
That's one of the benefits of having ladder 1. Let's say Station 2 or 3 get that call. They're not going to get the ladder truck initially, so they're going to have to ask for it. Some of that responsibility is on the chief officers or the person in charge of the scene. If they think it's going to be a long, drawn-out extrication, the patient's in bad shape, what's going to be the fastest way off the roof? It may or may not be the way that they got up there, which today is a scuttle hole or a ship's ladder to the roof. If that's not going to be the most effective way, we may have to call for another station. We might have to call Station 4, Station 1, depending on where it is in the city. But a fall on a roof or in a construction site doesn't necessarily mean that one of the ladder trucks is going to be on the way unless it's requested.
So, if a citizen of Lakeville witnesses an accident like this, what should they do?
Call 911.
Okay. Should they try and move the person themselves?
Absolutely.
Or?
Well, I say absolutely not unless they have first aid training. But then they should be doing that first aid that they're knowledgeable in. But they should also direct somebody at that point to call 911.
Okay.
Get us on the way.
And provide as much detail as possible.
Absolutely. You know, possibly put us in contact with a construction supervisor, somebody on the scene that might have known something about the patient. What was he or she doing? Something like that.
Okay.
Because I'll be looking for that as one of the first chiefs on the scene. I'll be looking for a construction person to say what was he doing, what was the equipment, that type of thing.
I'm from Station 3 and I'm down here training at Station 1. What are the benefits of several departments or stations training together in one night?
Okay, good question. I try to schedule some multi-station trainings, much like tonight, so that you guys from Station 3 are familiar with the operation of the truck. It also gives you the opportunity to see what's on the truck. Not only just expecting to see that great big ladder come over the top of the roof, but it also gives you the opportunity to see some of the controls. I want everybody on the department to be familiar with the truck and have the basic understanding on how the truck works, whether it means for you to operate it or just know what it's going to take to set it up. There's a lot of things that have to happen for, let's say, ladder 1 before you can use it. So if you train with it a couple times a year, it keeps those minor basic skills, keeps them in the top of your head, in the back of your mind, so that when we do call for it, at least it's not like a brand new thing you've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, and for me personally, it reminds me where all the tools are on the truck as well.
Exactly.
It's not just a ladder. It's
Exactly. That ladder truck carries several pieces of equipment, a lot of duplicate things. Sometimes in our job as firefighters, whether it be rescue or firefighting, you need more than one of the same thing. So there's a lot of that stuff on the truck. It's a good tool for us to use. It's not just for firefighting. It's a great tool to use for elevated rescues. It could be used, I said earlier on, we wouldn't necessarily use it on a residential home. We could have the same type of accident on a residential roof under construction or being re-roofed. We've had a couple of those in the past. Still a good tool to use.
Well, Brian, this has been a very informative and helpful training, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much for asking me.
Now it's time to highlight some recent news around the fire department. On Monday, May 9th, LFD responded to a possible house fire located on Glencoe Avenue. A neighbor discovered the fire after a lightning strike and alerted the homeowners to get out of their house. Other neighbors called 911 to alert emergency services of the house fire. Everyone did escape the house safely. LFD extinguished the fire and limited the amount of damage done to the home. The team effort by these neighbors was recently recognized at a city council meeting where they received the Chief's Award of Merit. Another major incident LFD responded to was a house fire on Jaguar Path just north of 175th Street in mid-June. The structure fire appears to have started in the garage. Firefighters quickly got the fire under control, but the house sustained substantial smoke and water damage. Luckily, no one was in the home at the time of the fire. LFD, along with the American Red Cross, hosted a blood drive at Station 1 in mid-May. Turnout exceeded expectations with over 66 units of blood collected during the event. The goal was 50 units. In fact, there were so many people willing to give blood, some had to be turned away simply because there was not enough Red Cross staff. Next year, the goal has been raised to 100 units. Special thanks goes out to firefighter Jeff Adler. who arranged the first annual blood drive here at LFD. And thanks also goes out to all the firefighters that volunteered and helped at the event. Also in May, LFD participated in a mock crash at Lakeville South High School. A mock crash is a simulated car crash involving students and adults to show what happens when emergency personnel respond to an accident caused by someone who's been drinking. Participants act as if the situation is real, including extracting people from vehicles, transporting a patient via North Air Care, and white funeral homes taking the non-surviving victims. Hopefully students that view the mock crash will make the right decisions when it comes to drinking and driving. And finally, the Lakeville Fire Department was honored to pay a special visit to a wounded warrior who returned home in late June. Army Staff Sergeant Kyle Malin, who grew up in Lakeville, returned to visit family and friends for the first time since he lost both legs a year ago in an IED explosion while serving in Afghanistan. Firefighters Adam Halkerud and Dan Swanson volunteered to make a special trip to visit Kyle, his wife Alicia, 2 young sons Caleb and Cy, and parents Deb and John. Kyle is currently undergoing therapy and rehabilitation at Fort Sam Houston in Texas. In honor of his visit home, the city proclaimed Monday, June 27, as Kyle Malin Day in Lakeville, and residents and businesses flew flags and tied yellow ribbons in his honor. He also had a chance to raise the flag at the Twins game on the 27th. If you would like information on how to help deployed military personnel and their families right here in Lakeville, visit the city's website and click on Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. And that highlights some of the recent news happening around the Lakeville Fire Department.
Welcome to another edition of Chief's Corner. I'm here down at Station 3 tonight with Captain Dean Pearl, and we're going to cover what we're doing for training on this evening. Dean, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike.
Can you give us a little description of what's happening behind us here with all the noise?
Well, as you can see, we got a little bit going on here. We got a couple different scenarios. The one over here is a scenario of going through like a wall of a house, 2x4 construction. We're taking our like a chainsaw and making purchase points to get access inside the building. The other one you see here is the block wall. It's our old dumpster enclosure, what we don't use anymore, it's obsolete. Instead of having somebody come and tearing it down, we're using it for training. Gives us 2 ways of doing stuff. It gets us access to the saws that we don't use every day unless we use that emergency. Get familiar how to run it, how to change blades. This way we also can take how to cut a block without trying to collapse the wall itself.
And we're saving a little bit of money by demoing our old dumpster container.
Correct. We happen to have Dick Sanitation donate a dumpster here for us. So when we get demolition down, we'll just throw it in there and we'll take it away for us.
What type of saws are we using for like the concrete, for cutting the concrete?
They're what we call a K12 saw. It's an oversized radial or skill saw, if you want to look at it. It's a 2-cycle motor. We got 12-inch blades on it, or 16-inch blades that'll cut through most anything. We have 2 different kind of blades on it. We got a metal blade and or concrete blade.
Okay.
But we went from them, now we got to cut a piranha blade. It's a multi-use blade. It'll cut both, that's whatever. If we're going to one, you don't have to change blade. So that way you can go cut concrete and steel. If we're going through a concrete wall, we got steel joists behind it or so forth.
Okay, so it saves us time on seeing that we don't have to change blade depending on what material we're encountering.
And all 4 stations has these saws and has these blades, so we can grab whatever saw and has that blade of that saw, so everybody's universal.
Okay. What other tools do they use for like the wood wall over there for the home? Besides you got a chainsaw, what else would we want that the crews might use?
We can also use an axe if we need to. We got Helgen tools that we need to purchase in there if we need to make a purchase point to get into. That's mostly the hand tools part of it. But with hand tools we use a lot. We don't use the motor tools.
Yep.
Chainsaws, K12 saws. That's one we got to get familiar because we don't have, unless we have a house demo or just making them ourselves. So we try to get as much use hand tools and chainsaw use as we can at one time.
That ends it for this edition of Chief's Corner, and I want to thank Dean and Station 3 for doing the demo here. And if you can see behind me, you can see that Station 3 is, the parking lot's being refurbed. And that's why we're kind of doing our training / demo of our dumpster pit, saving the city some money by cutting those costs. And then when we're done tearing that down, they're going to re-pour a concrete apron for a picnic table there. And I thank you for joining us at Chief's Corner, and that's a wrap.
In the event of a car crash, 3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
Did you know battery maker Duracell has a battery donation program to help volunteer fire departments? Duracell's Power Those Who Protect Us program lets you give back to LFD. When you purchase specially marked copper top battery packs, Duracell will make a battery donation to power communication devices and life-saving equipment here at LFD. Each battery pack contains a unique code which you can enter at Duracell's website. So next time you're purchasing batteries, look for this logo on copper top packs and then direct your donation to the Lakeville Fire Department. For more information on Duracell's Power Those Who Protect Us battery donation program, visit Duracell.com.
And now it's time for you, the viewer, to ask a question, where you have the chance to win a t-shirt in another exciting edition of Ask Tabor.
Today we're going to answer a question from Paul, who is from Eden Prairie. And Paul, your question is, how does the water get to the top of a ladder? We have 2 types of ladders. We have an extension ladder, and then we have the ladder that's mounted on a ladder truck. We carry extension ladders on our ladder trucks, but we also carry them on all of our engines. And this is the ladder that you might see like a house painter. We could put this up against the side of a building. A firefighter can climb up it and carry a hose with them up the ladder, spray water on top of the roof, spray water through a window, whatever they might need to do. And then when they're done, they would come back down off the ladder and bring the hose with them. What you're probably talking about is the ladder that's on a ladder truck. In Lakeville, we have 2 ladder trucks. We have ladder 1 and ladder 4. Ladder 4 is an older piece of equipment, and it's what's called a straight stick. So there's no platform or anything at the top, but there is a nozzle at the top of the ladder. And ladder 1 is called a tower or a platform. It's got a platform or a box at the top of it in which several firefighters can stand and operate various pieces of equipment and control the ladder. Both of these pieces of equipment have a tube that's built underneath the ladders. As the ladder goes up and down, the tube extends or decreases, and then the water flows up inside that tube to a nozzle, or in the case of ladder 1, 2 nozzles up underneath the basket, and those can be aimed and sprayed in a variety of different directions wherever we might want the water. Both pieces of equipment can be operated from the truck, from an operator standing on the ground, and can also be operated by somebody on top of the ladder and can operate some of the equipment from there. I hope this answers your question. Thanks, Paul. If anyone else has a question, feel free to send us an email or give us a call. We'll be happy to try to answer your questions on air, and you'll get a free t-shirt for your troubles.
It is I, Scratch the Fire Dog, because I like to scratch out the fires. Hey, I've been wondering, what is this big deal about this new host here on the On Call show? His name is Chris Lewis. Hey, who gives their kid the 2 first names? So what is going on here? So I thought I'd go down and hang out at Station 3, because I think that is where Chris is stationed. So let's head down to Station 3 so I can meet the new host of On Call. Haha, here we go. Ah, here I am at fire station number 3, and the door is closed. Hey, is anybody in there? Hey, Chris! Say, is anyone in there? Is anybody? Oh, no! What's happening? The door is opening, and behind the door is... Hey, it's Chris. Hey, come on over here, Chris. How you doing? Hey, good to see you, man.
Scratch, how are you?
Hey, it's nice to meet you. Hey, Chris, I got to say, this is a great opportunity for me to meet you, but also, I have never visited Station 3 before. Can you believe that?
Yes.
It's unbelievable. So, hey, would you maybe give me a quick tour so I know what's going on here at station on the number 3?
Absolutely. We're up here at Station 3, which is the northwest-most station of the department.
Yeah.
And if you take a look around, you'll see we have the cleanest trucks in the whole department.
Hey, well, you know what? Let's go in and take a look. Here we
Absolutely.
go.
Come on in.
Hey, Chris, this is one of your trucks here, number 3. What kind of truck is this?
Well, this is what we call our brush truck. This is brush 3. And we'll
Oh,
actually...
you brush your hair with it?
No, not really. We take this out on brush fires, little grass fires or recreational fires that get a little too big.
Oh, yeah, when that's like in the middle of a field and all of a sudden, poof, it catches on fire. This must be much easier to get the fires out than taking one of the big rigs out, eh?
Yeah, this one, because we can drive this up over curbs, go back into the field where we can't really do that with our big engine. So you can see it's got nozzles, it's got its own tank and pumper on it, much smaller than the big engines, but still gets the job done. We also have little packs that we call rookie packs.
Oh, yeah? Let's see.
Yeah, well, we take these things and we give them to our rookies because they're kind of heavy. And they have to put them on their backs, and then they have to actually walk way out into the grass fires and spray little fire spots there.
Oh, those
little
poor
hot
rookies.
Spots. Yep. Yep. We also have like chainsaws and shovels and rakes and stuff like that.
Cool. Hey, now, Chris, why don't you just stand right there? Why don't you tell me, how long have you been with the fire department here in Lakeville?
I've been on the fire department since 2008.
Okay, I'm really bad at math, so how many years is that?
That is 3 years, I believe.
Very cool. And why did you want to become a firefighter here in Lakeville?
Well, it was something I was looking at for a few years, and finally got the opportunity to get on, and then that was it.
And you passed all the tests. That's been my problem. I can't pass the agility test.
Ah, that's a tough one.
I know. Hey, let's check out another rig, okay?
Absolutely.
This way.
Okay.
Oh, hey, this is my favorite part of visiting a fire station. Seeing the rigs, Chris. Tell me all about this one.
Well, right here we've got engine 3.
Yeah.
This is the truck we'll take out on structure fires. We'll also take this one to carbon monoxide alarms, smoke alarms, anything like that. This will be the second truck we'll roll after rescue, usually. It's been in service since 2001, I believe, and it's got carries about 1,000 gallons of water also.
1,000 gallons? That's like 1,000 bottles of gallons of milk, isn't it?
It would be the same, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, what's this truck behind you?
Right over here we have our, what we call Rescue 3. This is the truck we'll take because we're very close to the freeway. So
yeah.
we get a lot of freeway calls, accidents, car fires, stuff like that. But we'll take this car if we have to go to an accident, if we have to extricate people, because we have all our extrication tools on here. We'll also take this one for any medical calls or any water rescues. This also will follow the engine out if we have a structure fire, stuff like that. So
Cool. Now, it kind of looks like an ambulance, but it's not an ambulance.
No,
this just has all of your equipment in it,
correct? Yeah. I mean, it does look similar to an ambulance, but it's a very different truck than that. There's no room inside to put, like a stretcher, a backboard, or anything like that.
How about the widescreen TV?
No, we don't have that in the truck.
Oh, darn.
No. But we actually used to have a TV in here, but not anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, hey, before we go to some crazy subject here, can we see the rest of the building, sir?
Absolutely. Let's go take a look.
I'll follow right behind you. Here we go. Hey, Chris, if I didn't know better, it looks like we're in a classroom. What do you need with a classroom here at the fire station?
Well, we've got this conference room for a couple different reasons. We'll hang out here after calls. We'll go to, this is where we have a lot of our trainings when we have, more of a classroom type of training.
Sure.
We also have our officers. They have different offices back here, our dispatch office. Just kind of a big conference room that we use for a lot of different things.
Very good. Now, how many members do you have out of this station?
At this station right now, we have 19, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I put them on the spot there.
Yeah.
So 19 people, when you have a fire, have to come here. And how far away do these firefighters live from the station?
Well, the rule is that you have to live within 2 miles of the station. As if you drew a circle around the station, it has to be within 2 miles. So we're all fairly close, and you don't want to live any further than that. Otherwise, by the time we got to the station, things would be way out of control. So.
Yeah, you want to be close so you can hop in the truck and get to the fire very, very quickly.
Exactly.
Okay, Chris, let's go to the next area.
Okay.
Follow me.
Okay.
Of course, I don't know where I'm going. Well, now we've moved into another area of the fire station. Where are we now, Chris?
Scratch, what are you doing with this?
What? I can't hear you. You better
Oh. What are you doing?
Well, I put those on because I thought it was going to be loud in here, but I guess I was the only one that was loud. Hey, where are we now?
Well, we are back in our maintenance room, actually. What we have back here is a washer and dryer for our gear and our towels. We also have our air compressor, which is why we have this back here, because when this thing kicks on, it gets pretty loud. Oh. And then we have our station where we fill our air bottles up. It's kind of a little more basic than some of the other stations, but it works for us just fine. We've got big air bottles that we use to fill up the SCBA tanks that we breathe on scene.
Well, hey, I was just going to ask you, what do you need air bottles for? Isn't there plenty of air in the atmosphere?
Well, if you watch the show, you'll see that we put these air bottles on to keep our lungs safe.
I only watched my segment.
Oh, sorry. I understand that.
No, I watched the whole show. Okay. Why don't you explain why you use the packs, Chris?
Well, we use the packs for when we're out on scene, and then we don't have to breathe in any toxic chemicals or smoke or anything like that.
Oh, so like when you're in the fire and all those smokes and things are going on, you can still do your job because you've got those air packs on your back.
Exactly, but they do empty, so this is where we come to fill them back up.
Oh, how long does it take to fill up a tank?
You know, a minute or two. It's not that bad.
Oh, that's pretty quick. Well, hey, let's head out to the front of the station and wrap things up, okay, Chris?
Absolutely.
Could you put that back on me?
Yep. Go.
What?
All right, let's go.
What? I can't hear you.
There you go.
Oh, we can go?
Yep, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Well, Chris, we're outside the Station 3. I got the one more question for you. I understand there's one little thing that makes it difficult to drive the trucks out of here. You got the roundabout out front here. Does that present any special problems going on a call?
It can. There's I mean, it's not very easy to drive our big trucks through that roundabout because it gets, you know, pretty snug. And also, some people are still kind of unfamiliar with it, and they're not really sure who goes when and all that stuff. So sometimes, you know, might have a little problem navigating it. But we're actually, it's not that bad because it's right by the station, so we're not really going too fast by the time we get there.
Sure.
And it does offer us a lot of good access to the freeway, so when we have accidents or when we have to go mutual aid to Burnsville or something like that, which we often do, we just get right on the freeway and go.
Excellent. Now, in your opinion, would it be better to have an octagon about?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, lots more turns
How
there.
about a rectangle about?
No, those aren't very good either.
How about a flat about?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I think a jump about would be great.
Hey, I like that. Hey, Chris, I think you and I are going to get along very, very well here on On Call. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck on being the new host.
Thank you very much, Scratch. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of On Call. If you have questions, comments, an idea for the program, or want to send a question in for Ask Tabor, feel free to call us at 952-985-4700 or use the email address on the screen and send us an email. Thanks for joining us, and all fire units are clear.
This is Louie the dog telling you, do not take pets with you in the car when you even go on quick errands. During warm weather, the inside of your car can reach 120 degrees in a matter of minutes. This can mean real trouble for your companion animal left in the car. Pets who are left in hot cars, even briefly, can suffer from heat exhaustion, heat stroke, brain damage, and can even die. This summer, play it safe by leaving your pet at home while you're on the road. Good human.